my dear learners, welcome to Learn Microbiology. On this video on what next after BSc Microbiology, we will be solving the GAT-B mock test section A Aptitude and Maths questions. This will be the part 1 of the video. Let's get started with the first question. Question number 1. Mr. X, Mr. Y and Mr. Z went to a fruit shop to purchase apples and oranges at a fixed price for each orange and apple. The transaction amount for each purchase was noted. Mr. X purchased 8 oranges and 4 apples. Mr. Y purchased 16 oranges and 8 apples. Mr. Z purchased 6 oranges and 5 apples. The individual prices of oranges and apples can be obtained by which of the following? Students, let's solve this question. This is a simple type of question based on linear equation which we have already studied in our school section. But there is a small twist. That is, they have not given the transaction amount, and there is the confusion with many of the students. What we need to do is, we don't know the price amount of each apple and orange. So what we will do, we will consider the price of each orange to be A and let us consider the price of each apple to be B. Now if Mr. X is purchasing 8 oranges, it means that the price of 8 oranges will be how much? 8 into A, because A is going to be the price of individual orange. Similarly, if he is purchasing 4 apples, price of this 4 apples will be 4 into B, because the price of each apple is B here. What we will do is, since we don't know the transaction amount, we will consider the transaction amount of Mr. X to be X, Mr. Y to be Y and Mr. Z to be Z. Let's solve this. So we get one equation for Mr. X, that is 8A, that is price of orange, plus 4 apples, price is B, and let's consider the total amount of Mr. X to be X. Mr. Y has purchased 16 oranges and 8 apples, so it will be, equation will be 16A plus 8B equals to Y. Let us consider the transaction amount to be 5. For Mr. Z, he has purchased 6 oranges and 5 apples. Let us consider that his transaction amount to be Z. Okay. Now let's see what is asked for us to solve here is, they have not asked us, listen this very carefully, they have not asked us to find out the individual prices of oranges and apples. They are just asking using which of this equation we can find the prices of individual oranges and apples. Okay, most of you got confused since your transaction amount is not given. How come we are going to find the individual prices of oranges and apples? Now, if you remember something that you have learned in your school section, whenever you have to solve certain linear equation as such, which is having 2 variables, like we have variable A and variable B, we require only 2 equations, right? If there were 3 variables, then we required 3 equations. One here, equation 1, 2, 3. So we will require any 2 of them, not all 3 to solve. Okay, so from here you can either require 1 and 2, you might either require 1 and 3, or you may require 2 and 3. Okay, so what we will do is, we will use 2 equations at a time and try to solve them and find out whether we can find out the individual prices. So shall we start with equation 1 and 2? So equation 1 and 2, I hope you know how to solve the linear equations. In case you forgot, I will just give you a quick revision. See, whenever you need to solve equation with 2 variables, you have to at least equate the value of one variable of both the equation. Let us say I will equate the value of B. Since here it is 8, here it is 4, I can multiply this entire equation 1 with 2, right? Otherwise, what can I do? I can divide this entire equation by 2. Even that is going to give me the same value for B. Okay. For easy purpose, I divided the entire equation 2 by 2. So I will get here 8a plus 4b equals to y by 2. Okay, now can I solve this? It's easy. What we need to do next? We just have to invert the signs. Okay, so we inverted the signs and we know how we are going to solve this. So here 8a minus 8a is going to get cancelled out. Similarly, 4b minus 4b gets cancelled out. So as we can see, all the values on the LHS has become 0. So we are left with like 0 equals x minus y by 2. Now can you tell me, can we find the value of individual prices of oranges and apples using this equation? Because individual prices of oranges is A and that of apple is B, we cannot find A and B in the equation, right? So definitely this cannot be the correct answer. We cannot find the value of it. So here option number 1 is wrong. Now what we will do is, we will try solving 1 and 3. Okay, so I will take the equation 1 here and equation 3 here. Now again the same steps, we have to equate any one of them. So what I will need to do is, since it is 4b and here it is 5b, you have to multiply this entire equation 1 by 5. So you will get here 20b and entire equation by 4. It's just like multiplying this 4 here and multiplying the 5 there, right? And what you will get, this is what we are going to get it. Remember students, many of you make mistake here. When you are multiplying, you also have to multiply the RHS, that is your right hand side. Now it is easy to solve. Next step is to invert the signs and then we know 20b and minus 20b get cancelled out and we are left with what? We are left with 40 minus 24a, that is 16a is equals to 5x minus 4z. And how we can find the value of a? Just by dividing by 16. So using this equation, we can easily find the value of a, which is the individual price of the orange. Now you may have a doubt, we don't know x and z. That is a doubt you all have, right? See, it is already given that the transaction amount was noted down. So they have noted it. If you just give them this equation, they can solve it or not. They have never told us to solve. They have just told using which of the two equation you can find the value. So definitely using 1 and 3 we can find the value. Okay, so this is correct. So what we will do is, let's try with 2 and 3 as well. So here is my equation 2 and 3. I think you might have understood now how to do this. So I have to multiply this equation by 8 and this one by 5 so that I can get the same value for B, and again next invert the signs, cancelling out the value of B. What we are left with is 80 minus 48a, that is 32a equals to 5y minus 8z. So we can find the value of a by dividing the RHS by 32, and using this equation we again can find the value of a. Are you wondering how we are going to find the value of B? Very simple. Once you get the value of A, you can easily substitute the value of A in any one of the equation. You can find the value of B. So using even 2 and 3, you can find out the answer to the question. So hence the option number 2, which says 1 and 3 or 2 and 3 is the correct answer. I hope you all have understood the question. In case you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section below. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. A watch repairman noticed that the clock under repair showed 12 minutes slow at 10 p.m. He made an adjustment and went home. Next day at 10 a.m. the clock shows 10:12. At what time the clock would have shown the correct time? It's actually a very easy question. Just see, let's say the time has to be 10 p.m. when actually the watch repairman observed the clock and it showed 12 minutes slow. Okay, that is, it was showing the time 9:48 p.m. So he made few adjustments to adjust the watch and he went home. Next day he came at 10 a.m. When the clock should have displayed the time as 10 a.m. it was displaying the time as 10:12. It is now gained 12 minutes. So now this type of questions are usually asked in entrance examination. This is called as losing and gaining of time by the watch or clock. So see, previously the clock was 12 minutes slow. It means it was losing 12 minutes. But now the clock has gained 12 minutes after making the adjustment. From 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. how much hours? It is 12 hours. Okay. If this clock was a normal clock, it would have run for 12 hours. But now it has to run all the way from 9:48 to 10:12. So it means it has to run now extra this 12 minutes and this 12 minutes. So instead of running for 12 hours, our clock might have run for 12 hours 24 minutes in the span of 12 hours. If this clock has gained 24 minutes in 12 hours, then how much it have gained in 1 hour? You can find it by dividing both sides by 12. It is going to gain 2 minutes every hour. Let's come back to the previous day night, and the clock was showing 9:48. So at 10 p.m. it was showing 9:48 p.m. So then after 1 hour, that is after at 11 p.m. it will show time. How much? It will show 10:48 plus 2 minutes. Where is this plus 2 minutes? Because as we can see that clock has gained 24 minutes in 12 hours. So it is gaining 2 minutes every hour. So after 10 this time, every hour this clock is going to gain 2 minutes. Only then it can gain 24 minutes after 12 hours. Right? So now we'll just do a simple calculation. So at 11 p.m. the clock would have shown 10:50 p.m. 2 minutes more. At 12 p.m. that is after 1 hour, it should have shown 11:52 p.m. At 1 a.m. it will be 12:54, 2 a.m. it will be 1:56, and 3 a.m. it will be 2:58, and at 4 a.m. you can see it shows the correct time as 4 a.m. So the correct answer should be 4 a.m. But unfortunately we can see there is some problem with the options shown here. The three of these options are actually wrong. It is not the correct options. So the correct answer will be 4 a.m. So there is some mistake in the options. Let's move to the next question. Question number 3. In a class of 15, the mean marks of a unit examination was 25 with a standard deviation 0. The correct interpretation is half of the class had scores less than 25. There was a high correlation between ability and grade. Everyone had a score of exactly 25, or half the class had zeros and half had 25. First, let us understand what is mean. Mean means average, calculated by adding all the marks of the 15 students and dividing by 15 will get the mean, and it was obtained to be 25. Now, what is standard deviation? Standard deviation is actually the difference of each individual marks from the mean. Okay, so mean is 25. How much that difference is their marks, that is called as standard deviation. And there is a formula for standard deviation. This is the sign for standard deviation. It says it is a square root of summation, that is addition of xi minus mu square divided by n. Now what is xi? Xi is each value of the population, that is the marks obtained by each student. You have to subtract the marks with mu, which is the mean. So for example, if a student has obtained 27 marks, then you have to subtract that 27 with 25. So you will get how much? 2. You will square that 2, it will give you 4. And similarly, you will add all the marks of all the 15 students and then divide by 15 and take a square, you will get the value of the standard deviation. Now it is given the standard deviation is 0. Okay. Now at what case the standard deviation can be 0? Now as we can see, we have a ratio here. It can only be 0 when either the numerator or the denominator can become 0. We know the denominator is at the size of the population, that is the number of students, that is 15. So this number can never become 0. So it can only become 0 when the numerator becomes 0, and numerator can become 0 only when xi and mu are same in all the cases. Only then we will get 0, and 0 square is 0, and if you divide 0 by a number, you will get 0. Okay, so that means the mean and the marks of each student should be same. That is, we can see the option number 3 here. Everyone had a score of exactly 25. Only then the standard deviation can become 0. Let's move ahead. Question number 4. A person travelled 3 km towards the west and continued 4 km towards the north. The shortest distance from the point of starting to the current position is dash. Option 1 7 kilometers, option 2 5 kilometers, option 3 1 kilometer, and option 4 2 kilometers. This is the question which is concerned with the direction. It is very easy to solve this question if just you remember the directions. As over here, north, west, east and south. Remember the direction of this. And whenever you start solving the question, you have to imagine that person to be at this position, that is at the center position of this map. and then as the way that person is moving, you have to move, and then you can find this answer. So let's imagine that this is a person where he is standing, and let's give that a name A. Now let's read the question. It says this person is traveling 3 km towards the west. So now the person is at the center. So toward the west means now he is going to travel this direction, correct? So let us make him travel towards that direction, and that was actually 3 km, and he reaches the point B. Now he is over where he is now here. Okay, he is somewhere here. Fine. Now he continued walking 4 km toward north. Now where is north? If you have to go north from here, he need to move to this direction. Okay. So now he is going to move in the upward direction. Only then he will go north, and that is actually 4 km. He reaches a point which is called as C. And then let's join these 2 points, because we need to find the shortest distance between these 2 points. If we take this direction AB and then BC, the distance you have to travel will be 4 plus 3, that is 7 kilometers. So that is not the shortest distance. The shortest distance is A to C or C to A. As we can see, this actually forms a right angle triangle with a 90-degree angle. This particular distance is actually like an hypotenuse of your right angle triangle, and whenever you see such a diagram, you always need to remember the famous Pythagoras theorem. So this is the formula of the Pythagoras theorem, and now how we need to find the value of AC? We will take the square root on both the sides, so we will get AC equals to root of AB square plus BC square. So we know the value of AB, it is 3, and the value of BC is 4, so we will squaring them. 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 16 plus 9 is 25, 25 root is 5. So the correct answer will be 5 kilometers is the shortest distance between A and C. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 5. Mohan is 18th from either end of a row of boys. How many boys are there in that row? Option 1 26, option 2 32, option 3 37, option 4 35. There is a row of boys, and let this be the first boy standing over here, and now we have to find out how many boys are there, and we know that Mohan is over here and he is standing here at the position number 18. So that we can say from here to here till Mohan there are how many boys? There are 18 boys. Also told here that he is 18 from either end. So it means if you count from this direction, or if you go on counting from this direction, you will find Mohan at the 18th position only. So if now from here he is 18, and if you count from this end also he is 18, then here the boy who is next to be here, he will be counted as 17. Right? So we can say that there are 17 boys from this side, that is towards the other hand of Mohan. So how many boys will be there? 18 plus 17, that is equals to 35. Very simple question. If you just understand the concept, it's very simple to solve. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 6. Soldier is related to army in the same way as pupil is related to education, teacher, student, class. All these are soldiers. Now when the soldiers come together, they form an army, right? So now what is a pupil meaning here? First of all, you should know the meaning of pupil. Pupil means students, right? And here option here students, since their meaning is same, it cannot be the correct answer, because a group of pupils belongs to where it will belong to a class. So the correct answer will be class. As we can see here, soldiers belong to a group called as army, and our students or pupils belong to a group called as class. So that will be the correct answer. Let's move to the next question. Question number 7. What should come in the place of x in the following series? There is a series of numbers 3, 8, 6, 14, x and 20 as here. Now, whenever you have a question of questions from series, you should remember there can be a function likewise. There can be something relation this side, or there can be relation from this side. Similarly, you can have relation with the alternate numbers as well. Okay. So let's see here. First it starts from 3 and then it goes to 8. Then again goes to 6 and again go to 14. So we can see there is an alternating increase and decrease. Whenever you come across such questions, it means that the particular numbers are related in this manner. Okay, and similarly like here, that is the alternating numbers are related to each other. Let's find out how they are related to each other. So if you see there is 3 and there is 6, so definitely we know it is going to be plus 3. But what about 6 and x? We have to find out. Let's move to the next group. 8 and 14, we can see if we add 6 we get 14. And similarly, if you add 6, it is going to get 20. So since these two options are working, so here what need to be there? Definitely there need to be plus 3. So 6 plus 3 is nothing but how much? 9. So your option 4 will be the correct option. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 8. A man has some buffaloes and ducks. If the number of head is 70 and number of legs is 200, then the number of buffalo is dash 30, 40, 20 or 70. We have to find out. Now this is a very simple question to solve. Just you need to know how many legs and how many heads buffaloes and ducks have. If you just know that, you can easily solve it. We know that the number of heads of buffaloes and the number of heads of duck will be equal to the total number of animals, because buffaloes and duck are going to have just one head each. So if you just count the number of heads, that will be equal to the total number of animals. Okay. So now let us consider the total number of buffaloes to be x and the total number of ducks to be y. We know that the number of head is equal to 70. It means total number of animals is 70. Number of buffalo is x and number of duck is y. We get an equation here, that is x plus y equal to 70. Okay. So now what they are given, they have told us that head is 70 and leg is 200. Let us form one more equation. Since we know that head is going to be 1 and leg is going to be 4 for buffalo and 2 for duck. So you are going to get one more equation. 4 into x, that is 4 is a number of legs for buffaloes and 2 is a number of legs of your duck. So total number of legs is 200. So that is our second equation. So let's take this equation 2 and this equation 1 we will multiply throughout by 2 and you will get the answer as 2x plus 2y equal to 140. We just have to invert the signs and then solve it. Here y cancels out. So we will get 4x minus 2x equals to 2x, which is equal to 200 minus 140, that is equal to 60. So x is given by 60 divided by 2, which is nothing but 30. Okay. So what is x? X is a number of buffaloes and that is what we need to have find. So we have found it. It was found to be 30. Very simple to find, right? Let's move on to the next question. Question number 9. Identify the pair that best expresses the relationship similar to that expressed in a day and week. Before choosing the correct option, we first have to understand what is a day and what is a week. We know week is made of 7 days, right? So day is a small part of a week, correct? Now let's go to the option foot and inch. It is a way of measurement of length. Second and time. Now second and time cannot be related to each other because time is measured in seconds. So this is not actually matching with your correlation provided here. So it cannot be the answer. Similarly, time and duration, it is also not matching because small amount of time we call it as duration. Okay, so that is no matching. Let's move on to the fourth option, acre and hectare. We know acre is a small part of area and hectare is also measurement of area, right? If we see 1 day is week, it is equal to 0.14 week. It means day is a small part of week. Let us find out similarly for the foot and the inch. We can find here that 1 foot equals to 12 inch. It means inch here is a smaller quantity and foot consists of 12 inches, right? 1 acre equals to 0.404686 hectare. It means from this we can say the bigger quantity is hectare. So what we can consider from all this, that we had first day and week. Week was the larger quantity which was made of day. If you consider foot and inch, we can say that foot here is a larger quantity where it is consisting of inches. Here we can say hectare is a larger quantity, it is consisting of acre. So can you tell me which of this is more related to day and week? Definitely acre and hectare is related, because if it was given here inch is to foot, then this would have been the correct option. But now since it is opposite, this cannot be the correct option. So we have got the correct option to be option number 4. Okay. So I hope you have understood this. We have solved 9 questions in this video and we have left with few more questions. So I will solve the next questions in the next part of the video. Wait for the next part of the video. And thanks for watching this video. If this video was useful to you, like this video, subscribe to my channel and share it to your friends. It can become useful to many other students. Subscribe to the channel to get notified once I upload the second part. I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.